All right, so this is Venza Maps, so I touched on in the office. So I've navigated out to our pine stand. You can see it delineated in that orangish yellow. I've taken some plots. Now here, I'll show you how I take a plot here. So the red markers like that, those are plot centers. Each organization will have different cruise accuracies. For a cruise like this, to mark, to confirm inventory data, whether the stocking level in here reached a point where we can come in thin or should thin. It's not something really intensive, but I'm not putting in a ton of plots and being super intensive. But give you a little look at the pine here. This will be a third thinning in this plantation. It's a rather large material, probably averages 11 inches at breast height. When you look at a tree like this, there'll be multiple products in each tree. The merchantable height is approximately 8 sticks, so that's 8 8-foot sections. As far as products go, when we sell something like this, we'll cruise multiple products. So what we'll see in a stand like this is 3 different products. We'll see saw timber, bolts, and pulp. When you start talking about the specs used to judge these products, we use 12 inches at breast height for saw timber, and we'll use 8-foot sections. We'll use 8 inches diameter outside of bark for bolts, and 6 inches diameter on the small side, so the diameter of minimum on the small side of a bolt, and it'll be 10 inches on a 8-foot section of saw timber. And then the rest, as long as it's 4 inches diameter on the big end down to about 3 inches, would be pulp for our mills. So what I use, so back to the product. The reason I use 12 inches diameter at breast height to determine their saw timber in red pine is because of the bark. The specs actually say it has to be 10 inches diameter inside the bark, so that'd be from here, if you can see the edge of the bark, inside of the bark to there. So I usually figure there's probably, on a tree like this, there's 3/4 an inch of bark, there's 3/4 here, an inch and a half of bark. So something like this, the general rule to make the math easy to me is saying that it has to be 12 inches, and then we should be getting a solid piece of saw timber out of that tree if at breast height it reaches 12 inches. So now I'll use the program that I talked about earlier, Forest Metrics, which does a sticks plus tree style cruise for us. So I open it up. I'll navigate to a plot. I select species. Wrong button. In this case, it'll be red pine. Stand tables are built-in volume tables. Select that there's one tree. And I'll swing a plot, use my 10 BAF angle gauge. I'll swing a plot, and every tree that is in on the plot, a tallied tree, I'll take the species out. So on a tree like this, there's approximately 5 8-foot saw timber bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There'd be, in this case, 2 bolts. So that's that 8-inch diameter class. That's already predetermined one pulp stick. And we'll do this for the whole plot. So every in tree. And going back to the bark diameter, that'll be different for different species as well. So if you're doing hardwoods, which tend to have thinner bark, that'll be different. Well, I'm going to collect the rest of the plots and information needed and go back into the office to compute the data.